Normalization. This has become West Asia's favorite word in the last 2 years, and winds of change, it appears, are blowing in some parts of West Asia. Now, there are countries which, as part of Abraham Accords, are trying to normalize their ties with the state of Israel. But what about Saudi Arabia? The officials say that this, of course, is going to be a crucial aspect in establishing peace in the Middle East. Our next report gets you all the details.
In West Asia, new alliances are being built. Two foes are coming together, Saudi Arabia and Israel. They are taking steps towards normalization, steps that would have been unimaginable a few years ago. The first steps were seen during Biden's West Asia trip. Riyadh opened its airspace to all Israeli carriers. Earlier, airlines from Israel had to bypass Saudi Arabia. They couldn't fly over the country. Now, they can. Now, the two sides have reacted to this very differently. Israel calls it the first step to normalization.
Today is an historic day after intense behind-the-scenes diplomacy with Saudi Arabia and the United States. Saudi airspace will now be open to Israeli airlines. I would like to thank President Biden for his visit here in Israel and for his commitment to a strong Israel and prosperous Israel and the region.
In fact, Joe Biden flew from Tel Aviv to Jeddah. He's become the first leader to fly directly from Israel to Saudi Arabia. Before the flight, he sent out this message.
Israel's integration in the region, Israel's peace with its neighbors, these are essential goals. Tomorrow, I'll be the first American president to fly from Israel directly to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. That represents important progress.
But Saudi Arabia seems to disagree. It says the move was always planned and was in no way a precursor to any normalization steps. So while Israel hailed it as a step towards normalization, Riyadh has something different to say. Currently, there are more benefits for Israel. Muslims in Israel will now be able to take direct charter flights for the Hajj. Israeli airlines can operate shorter flights to countries like India and China. They'll burn less fuel. Currently, flights to these destinations bypass Saudi Arabia airspace by flying south over the Red Sea around Yemen.
It will come into action when the two civil aviation authorities speak to each other, something that might take some time, but is under process already. Some people are working on that, so I'm positive that it will happen. It is very important for Israelis because it will save them a lot of money and a lot of time, being able to go from Israel to distant places and not going around Saudi Arabia as we have to do now. So for us, it's good news.
In the past, Israeli leaders have made secret trips to Saudi Arabia. They've used foreign aircraft and fictitious stopovers to mask their flights to Riyadh. The last leader to attempt such a secret visit was Benjamin Netanyahu. He's believed to have visited Saudi Arabia in 2020. Reports say Netanyahu met with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, but he wasn't able to get a deal. That could happen now. So what about full normalization? A relationship with Israel would contribute to greater acceptance of Saudi Arabia. It will bolster MBS's vision to turn the kingdom into a global power. The two countries also share a common enemy in Iran. For Tel Aviv, it would be recognition from another Arab state, the custodian of the Muslim world's holiest sites. Yet, despite the signs, it is unlikely that any normalization will happen soon. It is highly improbable that Saudi Arabia will recognize Israel. The process will likely be long and gradual. For years, Saudi Arabia has settled on one position. First, implement the two-state solution and then discuss normalization. But over the years, the kingdom's position has seen a shift. a shift spearheaded by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The Israel move could, however, be his biggest test so far. But right now, Saudi Arabia seems to be in no hurry. West Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.